Good afternoon. Welcome to Inside Indiana Sports Now with Kent Sterling. It's Monday, May 17th, 2021. We are brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill, simply the best dentist I've ever gone to. The only dentist I've gone to the last 27 years. When you find the best, you cling tight to the best. That's what I do with Dr. Mike O'Neill, and that's what you'll do as well. Give him a call. Finally, once and for all, take control of your dental health. 317-849-2933 is the number. Punch subscribe, hit like, ring the bell. Let's talk about sports, shall we? Great news out of Indiana today. More good news, right? A lot of good news this offseason. These have been a busy bunch of weeks. What's it been, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? For goodness sake, a lot of good news. Michael Durr from South Florida via Virginia Tech, where he was for a couple of weeks, coming to Indiana as a transfer, immediately eligible, as they all are, as long as it's your first. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. He's been a 3-year starter at South Florida. He's averaged 8.8 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, 3 of those rebounds on the offensive end. He is a guy, big body, 7 feet tall, 250. He's going to be a rebounding machine in Bloomington, and he gives Mike Woodson all kinds of flexibility to do all kinds of things. You want to play Trace Jackson Davis at the 4? Go ahead. Play Durr at the 5. Big body, big guy. Nice that he's Joey Brunk left. You needed somebody on the front court, so Michael Durr is coming. Jerome Hunter leaving. That opened up the door for Durr to walk through and get that 13th scholarship. So there you go. Again, you could go Durr, Jackson Davis. Who you want at the 3? You want Kopp at the 3? You want Bates at the 3? Geronimo at the 3 potentially. Guys who you could play in the backcourt. Landry you could play in the backcourt. Xavier Johnson, Parker Stewart, Rob Finnessy. Logan Duncombe is front court depth. So is Race Thompson. Race Thompson could play the 3 if I didn't mention that. Trey Galloway can play in the backcourt. You got a lot of widgets that could fit together in different ways and give Mike Woodson an opportunity to win a lot of games this upcoming season. It's going to take time for the new culture of Indiana to take root, to seat in Bloomington, but seat it will, and it's going to be successful. There are people who just now want to be a part of Indiana basketball who did not want to be a part of Indiana basketball before Michael Durr being the latest to sign on with the Hoosiers. There is no way without Mike Woodson that you get Tamar Bates or Michael Durr. And those are 2 guys who are likely to be very, very important as Indiana ramps up for yet another season. We're about 6 months away, right? 5.5 months away from playing meaningful games in college basketball, and Indiana has a chance to take a step up in class and finish in the first division of the Big Ten for the first time in a long time and go to the NCAA tournament for the first time since, 2015, 2016? It's been a long time. Archie Miller never went to the NCAA tournament as a head coach of the Hoosiers. Probably would have in 20 if not for COVID, but didn't. It's been a long time since Selection Sunday came along, and Indiana fans were really excited about it. I think they've got a terrific opportunity this year. Not to put too much weight on them too early. Mike Woodson has been the head coach at Indiana since March 28th. It's 6, 7 weeks. It hasn't been a long time, but he's gotten a lot done, and there's a lot to be excited about. And I was asked this question in a comment. So Tamar Bates is now a 5-star guy? I don't care how many stars. It doesn't matter. Who's giving him the stars, right? Who decides 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars? What was Matt Howard from Connorsville when he came to Butler? I don't know. 3 stars? I think he's a 3-star guy. One day, he's going to have a statue out in front of Henkel Fieldhouse. So there you go. It doesn't matter how many stars are affixed to your name in the recruiting process. It just doesn't matter. Where's a guy rank? It just doesn't matter. Ranking does not put the ball in the bucket, does not get you an extra rebound or assist, does not earn your team another win. Don't worry about that crap. Those are details for boobs. Don't get in the game of boobs. Where does he rank? 82nd. Does that mean he's better than the 85th ranked guy? Of course not. Who knows? We don't know. Victor Oladipo was outside, I think, the top 150 in the class of 2010. He's pretty good. as a college basketball player. What are these? How about OG Anunoby and Juwan Morgan? We thought that was a lost recruiting class, for God's sake, for Tom Crean. Not so much. They're both playing in the NBA. It doesn't matter where you're ranked. Christian Lander, how much was he able to contribute this last year after being ranked in the top 50, even after he reclassed? So don't worry about rankings with Tamar Bates. It just doesn't matter. Hey, the Colts, this is kind of interesting. The Indianapolis Colts, we found out today, have crafted a new way to execute the offseason. We thought, until the media availability a little bit earlier, that there's going to be a mandatory minicamp mid to late June, as usual, to kind of keep an eye on guys. However, what they've decided was to strike a compromise between what was scheduled and what could be scheduled that would facilitate both team needs and player needs. So what they're doing, this is a 2-week work period for the players right now. And there is not going to be a mandatory minicamp. In fact, after this 2-week kind of work period that will pass on Memorial Day, they're off for like 8 weeks. And they'll be on their own to maintain their conditioning and to work hard to make sure they're ready to go. And I think they will be. And this is what you can do. This is why drafting to character is so important. Yeah, you need speed and you need explosiveness and you need all that stuff. You need supple hips and flexibility. You need your shuttle, your cone deal to be at a certain time and your 40 to be at a certain time. You need all of that. But what you also need, you need character guys who you can be able to trust, right? That they've got the work ethic to be able to maintain their conditioning if you want to execute what the Colts are executing. And what they're executing is a completely different version of the offseason where these guys get 8 weeks off to get their bodies to heal. And one of the things that it's about is the 17-game season, because the 17-game season is going to be different from a 16-game season. Ryan Kelly is the union rep for the Colts. And so Ryan Kelly, along with Frank Reich and Chris Ballard, kind of put this together. And so we spoke to Ryan Kelly in a Zoom call earlier today to kind of go over this and some football stuff too. And so we asked him, why are they doing it in this way?
It was a way to give guys the summer off, June and July, to go back and train and get ready for the season, get their bodies right. But also we're getting in here for 2 weeks. We're all voluntary. This is all optional. So this is obviously not something mandated by the team. But I think this is the best of both worlds. We get to be in, working out, be on the field. It's still going through individual, but there's no, possibility of going against the defense and taking an unnecessary risk to, get a helmet to the shoulder or whatnot. So I think that Frank and Chris both understand what the season, the challenges that are ahead with 17 games, and we're very fair to us. And I think this is the best, possibility that I've seen out of anybody in the NFL right now.
Ryan. And then we asked Ryan, and then you call it quits until training camp, right?
Yeah. So this is, as you guys have seen, every team, right, came out and said, hey, we're not doing OTAs. And we never said that. And so that also brings up the problem then, you have mandatory minicamp. So some teams, I feel like, were pressuring the players to come in for OTAs and for mandatory minicamp. And that's the one thing in our CBA that says we have to go to, right? So would we just do virtual and then just wait till the middle of June, come back, put helmets on, and then take an unnecessary risk to do a ramp up period? So no. Right. Frank and, we kind of had this conversation, and it was really Frank's idea. I'd take credit for it, but it wasn't mine. It was more, okay, let's move everything up so that we're not waiting till the middle of June to come back. Give guys, Memorial Day and off, and we can come in. The players can still dictate the tempo because it's OTA, so it's still technically optional. And so I think it's just the best of both worlds. I mean, we still have a 4-hour day. We can come in, we can test. They've added testing, people to make it a little bit easier for us to come in. We work out a couple of times a week, and we go out there for a couple hours on the field, an hour and a half. We do individual. We do they do routes on air. We do stuff against, we do walkthroughs against the offense. I think that this is the best. This is the best. I mean, it's the best offer that I saw out of anybody in the NFL. And I think it just goes to show the Colts, being proactive as far as the 17th game, and what that shows for guys down the road, for health and safety. And also, this could be the change of going forward as far as what OTAs look like.
Ryan was also asked how he's getting along with Carson Wentz and how he's building that bond that is really, really significant between a quarterback and a center.
It's fun, man. I mean, it's this game has blessed me with a lot. It's blessed me with meeting people I would have never thought I'd be friends with or would have come in contact with. And so, in the short briefings, meetings that I've had with Carson and hanging out with him and his wife, and he's just an awesome guy so far. So, this is what this league shows, is that the guys who stay in here are professionals. They do the things on and off the field to stay here, to better their careers, and just excited to have them.
And finally, we asked how excited Ryan Kelly is about the acquisition of Eric Fisher.
Yeah, very excited. I mean, I watched some of the Kansas City, some of their games last year, and just a physical guy. You don't stay in the league this long without being a smart player and a really good player. So I know he's come back from a pretty good Achilles tear, but he's in there. He was in there today, doing walkthroughs, asking questions. And like I said before, I mean, I've said this 1,000 times. You don't stay in this league without being a pro, and obviously all things show to that. So excited to have him in there. I think we've got a really strong group right now in the offensive line room, and just that's why I'm excited that we're in right now. For 2 weeks, we can have some bonding, some camaraderie, and that's what it's all about.
So the Colts for the next 2 weeks are going to prepare for the upcoming season, take 8 weeks off, and then get it going for training camp and hit the regular season running. I think that this is kind of fascinating, and I love the way that the Colts operate, both their players and the front office and coaching staff, utterly without any arrogance whatsoever. Because if you're an arrogant person, you are going to set your schedule and make sure that the players adhere to it. In this instance, people got together. They said, okay, what do we want to accomplish? What's the best way to accomplish that? Let's try this. Given COVID, given conditioning, given the 17-game season, how can these guys best prepare their bodies to withstand the rigors of that 17-game season? Sane minds came together. They said, okay, let's scrap the old thing, throw it in the trash, and put together the new thing in a new way that is completely unique within the NFL. I think it's great. And I think it's a testimony to Chris Ballard, Frank Reich, Ryan Kelly, the rest of the players. They're in this thing together. This isn't about management and the players pulling against each other. This is about all of them pulling for each other and pulling with each other. And that, I think, has got to be an important point of differentiation between NFL teams. And if you want a reason why I think that the Colts are going to win 12 games, that's one of the chief ones. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a guy that Frank Reich can get acclimated to being anew, right? He's got to be renewed as a quarterback because his 2020 was terrible. But his 17, 18, and 19 were pretty damn good. And if you look at Carson Wentz's career in the aggregate, pretty good as a starting quarterback with Philadelphia. And he's coming back to the guy who led him to the real good back in 2017. We'll see if he can stay healthy. He's got to muck plays. He's got to throw it out of bounds. He can't take all those hits. He cannot be sacked 50 times in 12 games like he was last year. Just can't do it. Got to get rid of the football and live to play another day. Tomorrow morning, we get back at it again. Breakfast with Kent, bright and early, 6 o'clock on Facebook Live, and immediately thereafter, right here on YouTube and every other place where you're hearing this right now. I can't wait to talk to you then.